Dr. Phares, Fox Business national security and foreign policy analyst. Doctor, great to see you. We've got a lot to cover here. A lot of news in the last 24 hours, but how we got here matters. We've had different tangents to this. The Taliban peace talks, the Middle East, what happened in Iraq and in Syria with the Kurds. And here we are, the president striking back after the death of an American contractor. So all of this leading to where we are right now in the strikes. What message do you think that sends versus the bluster from Iran?
Well, Dave, as you just said, this is a very intense time as we are crossing to 2020, and it's going to continue throughout the at least early part of next year. In Iraq, it was expected because of the last, let's say, 6 months, the Iranian militias or backed militias were conducting operations of encirclement, pressure against our forces. But the minute they actually killed an American contractor via the shelling or targeting a base, then our decision was very simple. We need to defend ourselves, because if we do not react to the killing of American citizens or soldiers, then what's going to happen next? They're going to come again, the Iranian militia. So that was a decision that had to be made. Now, why the Iranian militias are doing this? Probably because of two reasons. Number one, to remove our forces from Iraq so that Iran will further control. But there is something else I would like to mention. The fact that since mid-October, there are huge demonstrations against the Iranian-controlled government of Iraq is probably one of the reasons for why now they want to weaken us, so we're not connecting with those demonstrations, and a change could happen in Iraq. So it could be that strategic at the end of the day.
Well, let's stay on that idea, on the discussions and the protests that have been going on in Iran for a moment, and go to their perspective. Oftentimes in American media, as we would in the West, we look at it from our perspective. What does the Ayatollah, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, how do they see this? You say they need to show strength, but they have a problem within that country with their population.
Absolutely. That's the key. The key equation of everything. Iran as a regime controls, in addition to Iran, obviously, Iraq and Syria and Lebanon and parts of Yemen. What has happened over the past 2 months now, at least since mid-October, is the fact that out of Lebanon, you have an uprising. Out of Iraq, you have a larger uprising, and you have a deeper uprising inside Iran. So the Iranian regime, which is confronting us in the region, is concerned because of this uprising across the region. What do? They want to, change the attention from the demonstrators and all this uprising to a confrontation with the United States. The risk that they are taking is that in the past, probably certainly under the years of the previous administration, there were no reactions. Now it may be different for them, and they saw a piece of it yesterday.
We've seen a lot of news coming out of the administration, certainly the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of Defense, speaking on this as well. One other aspect, the recent development of cooperative military exercises between Iran, Russia, and China. And of course, we all know there is a Republic of Korea, the North Korean component. What message does that send from their point of view?
Over the past weeks and months, when Iran would conduct an aggressive action against us, many in the region would ask us, why are you not taking an action? Why, for example, when they downed your drone weeks ago or months ago, you did not take an action? And why are all these militias moving and you are not retaliating unless or until they kill one of our citizens? Well, precisely because Iran is not alone. If you want to engage the Iranians, we have to be aware and conscious that they are backed by China and they are backed by Russia. And this latest development of joint exercise in the Indian Ocean and closer to Iran and Oman is a very serious message to the United States and our local allies. It says to us, Iran is under our umbrella. So our strategies have to be now very cautious about how to engage the Iranians.
A quick one for you as we wrap up here. The exit question, as I like to say. The president clearly identified the Indo-Pacific region as an area, not just China, not just the South China Sea. Is that important? Is the president led on this issue by identifying that area of next potential conflict somehow, sea lanes or otherwise?
Well, he has a point, and of course his advisors have a point here, because the Indo part of the Indo-Pacific is precisely Iran and what it can do and its projection around the region. And then the Pacific, we're talking about China. And of course, the North Pacific, you have Russia. So this is a shift in our strategy to pay attention to where the other side can cause either damage or expansion.
Waleed, thank you very much. Have a very happy new year. Thank you for joining me tonight. New developments.